Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today we have two topics to discuss. First up, real quick, an update to a video I made last week. So last week, if you recall, I made a video titled something along the lines of Schlieffen and Early Access Bundles with a question mark. And in that video, we discussed one of the recent dev diaries or updates for the PT server, whatever those updates are called. And in that, it stated word for word this line right here. Update 10.9 brings German Tier 3 to 10 battleships to early access. So that's a pretty straightforward sentence saying that you can get the Tier 3 to Tier 10 new German battleships in early access. And then it went on through the article, and it didn't specifically say that how you were going to get the Tier 10. So I speculated that, oh no, they're going to like not put the Tier 9 in the early access bundles anymore, but now they're going to put the Tier 10 in there, which of course would be a huge carrot on a stick, dangling the Schlieffen in front of all the very, very hungry brawling battleship players' nose, or just the player base in general, because this does seem to be a pretty hyped up line so far. I mean, with the Moltke, if you go to play Tier 4 right now, I'm probably going to be playing against like 4 Moltkas on each team, and it is a really, really, really good battleship, the Moltke. I released my review for it last week as well. And if the Moltke is any indication of the direction that the line's going to be going in, this is going to be a really fun line. So obviously shoving the Tier 10 of this really hyped up and what seems to be a really fun line in early access random bundles would probably make board gaming a pretty penny. But they have clarified that that is in fact not the case. They clarified that it works just like any other early access event. You can only get up to the Tier 9. The Tier 10 won't be available until the full line launches, so it was just a typo, thank God. Now this also means too that we are not going to have to go through the random bundles to get the Tier 9 ship, which is a massive plus in my book. Now the last time I talked about this was with the current event that's going on right now, the Soviet CVs, because you can't get the Tier 8 in the early access random bundles. You can only get it in the sequential bundles, which you get by playing the game, earning Soviet tokens, and then you can exchange those Soviet tokens to get the Tier 4 and the Tier 6. You get enough Soviet tokens by just playing the game, participating in the Aircraft Carrier Research Bureau event, and getting the daily missions. But to get the Tier 8, the Chikhlov, you do have to buy a couple of random bundles to get enough tokens for that. Now, a lot of players said, well, that's not much better than putting the Tier 8 in the random bundles. Well, with the tokens being in the random bundles instead of the ship, you at least have an idea of how many bundles you'd have to buy to get the ship in early access if you wanted to, because they do show the amount of bundles that have this many tokens, that have this many tokens, and have this many tokens in them. So you can see, let's say you need, well, I don't know, like, I haven't even looked at the Pobeda yet, or however many doubloons, not doubloons, tokens you need to get it. Let's say it costs 2,000 tokens to get the Pobeda. And let's say there's, I don't know, 20 bundles in there that have like 200 tokens, and then there's like 10 that have 500 or 5 that have 1,000 each. So you can, kind of judge for yourself that, sure, I can get it early, but I'd have to either get, really lucky and get like 2 of the 1,000 token bundles, or get kind of lucky and get a couple of the 500 token bundles, or just grind my way, well, not grind my way through, pay my way through all the 200 or 100 token bundles. You can at least judge for yourself that you'd have to spend, around X amount of money to get it in the early access event if you would want to. Whereas if the whole ship is in there, you don't know how many you would have to go through. You can only guess that, okay, maybe I'll get lucky in the next one. Maybe I'll get lucky in the next one. Maybe I'll get lucky in the next one. And that's the thing for me, that when we saw that with the Johann de Witt, it seemed that most players were having to go all the way to the end to get the ship, which would be about 70,000 doubloons, which is a ridiculous amount of money for an early access item. Now, sure, early access events, they are, of course, completely optional, because these ships will be completely free to grind in another patch or two. And sure, you could argue that, but I mean, still 70,000 doubloons for a Tier 9 tech line ship in early access, that's a bit much in my opinion. And it seems like thankfully they've done away with that because they understand that's a huge thing the community has an issue with. And if this holds true, if what we've seen so far holds true, and when 10.9 comes out and the German battleships aren't in the random bundles, then good job Wargaming there. Alright, next thing I want to talk about is what we could be seeing for the drop rates for the containers. So if you remember back when Wargaming released that big apology letter, one thing they said is that they were going to work on implementing publishing the drop rates for individual items in containers over the course of the next year. Now, over the course of the next year means that they are going to be trying out different methods of displaying these chances, be it on the forums, be it on their website, be it in-game, over the course of the next year. That doesn't mean at the end of next year that they're going to suddenly start publishing drop rates. That means over the course of. That was something that a lot of people got stuck on. And this seems to be holding true. There's an event going on in World of Tanks right now where there seems to be a jury-rigged Stargate in the background called the Engineer's Gate. I don't know what's going on with World of Tanks right now. I don't play the game, but I do know that they have now published the drop rates for what you can get in their crates. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward, pretty simple, and hopefully we get to see this in World of Warships pretty soon. Now, it does make sense that they would get World of Tanks' whatever you want to call this, drop rates, drop list, or whatever, drop sheet published first, because World of Tanks is their main game. And from my understanding, there has been quite a bit of drama going on at World of Tanks over the past month or so too, just like with World of Warships. So it does make sense that they would publish theirs before, and plus, of course, they have this event going on. Maybe with the German Battlecruiser event or the next event, we will see this get published. Hopefully, definitely for the Christmas container event, because that's, of course, the big spender for many a whale this season. But as you can see, they clearly state the percentage for each item being dropped in the container. They have items at the top that are 100% drop rates. They got drop rates for whatever an engineer starter is. Then down at the bottom, they have the published drop rates for the premium vehicles down there too, 2.4%. So this is letting you know, as a consumer, you have this chance to get this item in this container. It's very transparent. I like it, and I do hope it comes to the game quite soon. Now, what is interesting is that after they said that, I went and did a little digging, and apparently they are trying to reboot the game in China. If you guys don't know, there is actually a China client for this game out right now, but it is beyond outdated. They still have RTS CVs on that client of the game, and they've been looking at rebooting this the game in China. Now, if you guys don't know, the Chinese Communist Party isn't the most, how do I put it, lenient when it comes to anything on the internet at all. So understandably, there's quite a few restrictions on what is in the game in China, and one of them is that, oddly enough, you have to publish the drop rates for all items in loot crates or whatever you want to call them in game, meaning there has to be a way in game to display the drop rates of your random bundles or random containers or loot boxes, whatever you want to call them. So they've already had to have been working on some type of, and you know, it's not the most intensive thing to make some type of, you know, HUD or display or info page that displays the drop chances. You know, it's not like they have to redesign the code or something for that. So they already have to be working on something for that client of the game. So really, realistically, it shouldn't be too far behind for coming out for the rest of World of Warships. Now, as many has pointed out, it can't really be that hard to come up with something like this for World of Warships as well. And I would expect that we would see our own version of this pretty soon, because it's been, what, almost 3 weeks, a month since that that video came out from, not the video, that letter came out from Wargaming apologizing to all of us and saying what they were going to be working on over the next couple of, well, not couple of months, but next year. Yeah, sure, it hasn't been that long, but you got to understand that there are various countries that this game is published in, and by various I mean quite a bit. And of course, with loot boxes and random bundles and gambling, quote unquote, there are many a law around this, and a lot of those laws are changing. And there's no way you can 100% say for sure that there's not some country out there that has some random obscure law that would stop wargaming from doing this, or making it illegal to publish the chances of these items being dropped, or some way to make sure that these chances that you're publishing are the genuine chances in game, some way of government accountability or something like that somewhere around the world. So it is understandable that they would have to take some time to double check with their legal team to make sure that this is okay to do, or whatever they have to do to make it okay and comply with that. Now, I'm not saying there is something out there that would stop them from doing this, because it seems that there's not. It's been about 3 weeks, and since from that apology we have this out now for World of Tanks. It doesn't make sense they would come out on World of Tanks first. World of Tanks is their flagship game, and of course they had their own bit of drama over there over some pretty similar issues. Apparently around the same time we were having our drama here on World of Warships. So I would hopefully like to see something like this get published for World Warships here within the next week or so, especially with the German battle cruiser event coming up pretty soon, and of course Black Friday and the Sand Container event right around the corner after that. So Wargaming, if you can get this out for World Warships within the next couple of weeks, or in time for the German battle cruiser event, bravo. And I think you really should, and it shouldn't really be that hard, because apparently whatever legal hurdles had to be checked seem to have been checked, and there's nothing stopping you from doing this now. So very much so, Wargaming, get this out pretty soon for World Warships as well. Anyway, guys, that's the two things I want to talk about with you today. Let me know what you think about both subjects in the comments down below. Do you guys think we're finally starting to look like we really are heading in the right direction? And sure, 3 or 4 good turns so far doesn't mean that Wargaming has completely redeemed themselves, but it does certainly seem like they're on the right path right now. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments down below. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 30,000 subs. We just passed 28,900 yesterday, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.